Thank you very much. Okay, welcome. Go ahead.
Okay, so I had a client reach out to me, well, it was like 2 days ago, and they sent me, so they closed probably in August. And they sent me a document from the HOA saying that they owe $3,600 in a transfer fee. And they were not aware of being in an HOA. The home
my
was
gosh.
advertised as not in an HOA.
Oh, no.
And the title company said that they emailed the HOA and they said that that address was not affiliated with the HOA. And so, but everything that's recorded against the title states that it is a part of that HOA.
Wow.
Oh, no.
So,
the title never
so
pursued it.
let's
Does
talk
title
about
cover
that.
that?
What's the, in my opinion, this is title's issue.
Yeah.
Because they should have pursued it deeper and got documentation that that lien or whatever that is
Right.
And confirm that payoff.
is that whatever happened to that HOA is why is it not affiliated?
Well, and that's why we have title insurance, is because these mistakes happen and you want someone that can go back and say, oops,
What the
Yes.
title say?
So they're working on it
there you go.
and they have not gotten back to me as far as a solution yet, but
Which title
Um,
company?
You always,
this
Who is it?
is Sutherland Title was my title company, and they said that the other side is basically the one that told the seller said he never has made a payment,
Oh,
an
wow.
HOA payment.
that's the reason why it's so. much problem.
But then again, no, this is just the transfer fee, which is
just the
a half
transfer fee.
percent or half of 1% of the purchase price. There was no lien against the house for missed HOA payments. There was no so very fascinating as to why it was never called out. Luckily, the HOA is only $175 a year.
Oh, good. I thought you were
Um,
gonna say a month. Oh,
Yeah,
good.
yeah. So
Going back
so
5 years.
if they're, I think if that
Saratoga?
it's out in Saratoga, yeah. So yeah, and then
Isn't that a
just
big transfer fee for a small monthly payment, yearly payment?
yes, it is, but it's very typical for Saratoga.
Really?
Just in general. If
Okay.
you're over by the lake in Saratoga, that is a very typical transfer fee. So also something you want to be aware of too when you're helping a buyer over there. And luckily, even though it said no HOA on the
Listening that.
on the listing, I still checked that the seller would pay the transfer fees. So hopefully,
Oh,
if the title company, we'll see
Oh.
what happens.
Why?
But why did I do that?
Yeah,
I just always do that.
So, well, because you have to do it.
I know.
I
So
always check it.
I
like
just-
when it says it.
But you can't do that now.
well, or other not
Why
applicable.
not?
I was to NA.
Yeah,
Oh, when there's not one.
when there's
oh,
not an HOA, and sometimes I've done that, but for some reason I just checked it and I just,
Look at you.
I don't know
oh,
why.
Wow.
I was
Yes.
thinking you couldn't do it now because everything has to favor.
Oh, well, this home had also been on the market for 17 days. So I was like, I'm gonna go for it. And it was a little overpriced too. So they should have paid for it.
Huh.
So yeah, so there's a little story for you.
It wouldn't go towards your buyers. It would go towards.
Did-
sellers.
Yes.
did
Yeah.
anything show up on the preliminary title report prior to the
They said
notice?
it did, but that's when they reached out to the title that HOA.
Did they
and
put it on
s-
the title report, on the title commitment?
I'm not sure.
That's so crazy. I'm sorry, but just having somebody say, oh, that address isn't associated, and then having title just be like, oh, okay,
Okay.
great.
Yeah,
Like, who does
that's
that?
why I was, yeah,
Like, that's more
Bonus.
legal than anything.
yeah.
Salary
Huh.
payment.
So it's funny that this happened because last week, and you can judge me all you want,
No judgments.
I just listed a
You
house
just go, boy.
and I swore the previous MLS said that there was no HOA. So I didn't list it as an HOA, just assumed there was no HOA. And the title company reached out to me and said, hey, there's a $500 transfer fee, but in the contract, it doesn't specify who's paying for that. How would you like me to handle that? And I
Oh,
was
good
it's
like,
for
already
them to
under
tag that.
contract.
and we're already under contract with the buyer already has $15,000 non-refundable earnest money at this point.
Wow.
Oh, no.
And so I paid for the transfer fee.
That makes sense. For your-
And
for your
luckily,
mistake.
this is another $150 a year HOA, and so the buyer was not,
They're okay.
they're okay. So,
We had a situation in Heber on a subdivision that showed HOA on it. When they originally planned the subdivision, they had a piece of property out they were gonna put a park in as part of the HOA. And then it turned out the city right next door put another piece of land in that they were gonna do a park instead. So they never actually activated the HOA, but it still showed up on title.
Hmm.
So we just to be careful because there were fees and things like that, transfer fees and everything. We got with it. We actually had to get a letter from the city and from the, I'm trying to remember exactly who we got confirmation from that the HOA had actually been disbanded, and we disbanded it before we bought our lot. So I had a formal cancellation of HOA because they disavowed it because the city was doing the same thing that they were gonna do.
Mm,
But thank goodness for title, they caught that
yeah,
because otherwise no one would have known.
Wow,
so just a fun
that's crazy.
part of our
drama.
business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, so I actually wanted to touch base on the Showing Time app
Mhm.
and our Supra app. How many of you use, or how many of you know what a CBS code is?
I've had to put one in before. but
How
I-
many of you use them on your own listings?
I have for a person that was a single woman.
Smart idea.
I did one. time, but I don't usually use them yet.
So I use them every time
For how long? Have you done that? Ever?
for 2 years now.
Ooh.
So I've had too many instances of people showing up to my listings and just walking in. And it's usually because there's two listings next to each other and they don't really pay attention to which one. So they end up just going in. And one time they let the cat out or they
Oh.
shut the door to the litter box and my
Oh.
clients were out of town.
Ah.
Yeah. So, anyways, so I use CVS codes on all my listings. So, as a listing agent who does that, nothing drives me more insane when a showing agent shows up to show my listing and calls me for the CVS code because it's in the showing time instructions.
And on their app.
And, well, it's not on the Supra, it's on the showing time.
Showing
app.
time app.
Yes.
So when you get the confirmation, yes, you can go in. It's additional at the bottom of that.
So
right?
when you get the confirmation, it says, hey, you're scheduled for this showing, click here for showing details. Please just click on the link and see if there's any, I mean, it'll tell you where sometimes it'll tell you where the Supra is located. It'll tell you if there's a code that's involved, or it will tell you if there's a door code or anything like that. So please, if you have the Showing Time app, it's so much easier because you can literally just pull it up. You click on the listing and then it says,
Do you have a listing that's active right now?
yes. So if you go to,
Should we do that?
the ID is 1793669. I don't know if it'll show you on your, but
Do that again.
my on the
The MLS.
is 1793669. Probably 'cause it's ending, so it might not be showing.
Oh, that's why. Okay. Because sometimes when it's done, I actually will put in the memo, the CVS code, because then I can copy and paste it, I think, more than if it's in just, I think there's two ways to do it, and one way is.
The
much
memo
harder
of the
to find.
listing, like on the MLS.
No, in,
Can I ask, I apologize, can I get that one more time? 179, sorry.
it's not working, it's pending.
It's,
So it's
are
not
you
working.
trying to get it on Showing Time?
No, I'm trying to get on the MLS.
It'll
Oh,
show
it
you
won't.
on the-
Oh, yeah, it's
works.
1793669.
Are you on Showing Time?
No, just on the.
3669.
Yeah.
I wanted to look at it on.
Do you always
Showing.
come up with the same number or do you just?
I have the same number every time,
Oh.
yeah. And what I usually do is there's notes in the, oh yeah, so so it won't necessarily,
Just type it.
when you schedule it here,
Go ahead, just set up a schedule, but don't.
Well,
finish it.
let's see. I forget how to use I don't know what I did.
There was a things on the MLS on here just to switch over to showing time, you know? Like to just connect over?
I've not,
On the computer there is.
Yeah, I thought there was on the phone too, but I
oh,
don't
I've
see
not
it.
noticed that. So when I'm putting it in, I actually put it, so if it says Supra iBox, like as the key box,
Mhm.
all you have to do is click that and it will pull up whether it has a CVS code or not. I also put it in my notes, in the memo notes of showing time, so that it shows up twice.
Right.
That's why I'm also extra annoyed when people call me for the CVS code.
And that is a huge better thing, like, because then when you're there, you go to showing time, you copy paste that number instead of having to memorize the 7-digit number to go enter showing time. So if you do it, do what he did, where you put it in your notes on showing time. So it makes it like a super easy way to.
I always just write it on my MLS reports. I always take one with me when I show a house.
I always
Yeah.
take a listing sheet too.
I take a
Yeah.
screenshot.
That's perfect. And
It's
so,
just-
Although I did have one in, it was in Eagle Mountain where the big power lines are, like, I don't remember what that area is called. Really bad phone service. So I did finally get the box opened, but I couldn't get the code to save my life. And there just happened to be somebody in the neighborhood who worked for that brokerage. who knew
oh,
it.
nice.
It was kind of weird because
Lucky,
I'm like,
yeah.
I don't want to be an idiot and ask because I should have saved this, from home. I should have done it at home, not on the fly. But,
Okay, so here's another little trick. So now we're back to the Supra app, if you can see that. So the reason why most people like it does get a little frustrating when you're using a CVS code because you enter your 4-digit PIN and then you push the bottom of the box and then it goes, and then it asks for a CVS code. And then you have to put the CVS code in. And after you do that, you have to push the bottom of the box again so that it then unlocks.
I don't know if I
So-
knew that.
Wow.
Here's a little trick. On the bottom right, this is my iPhone, so if you have a Samsung, then it might be different. On the bottom right, there's the little more button right down here with the dots. If you click that, then you're going to go to settings. And then down at the very bottom, you're going to slide over CVS input. And then if you want, you can also slide over require PIN only once per day.
Oh, that's a great idea.
nice.
Whoa. Learn something new.
I am so
So
glad.
it's gonna work on the
Oh,
next
how much-
key box.
I
even if
know.
you don't have the code?
let's
So then when you go and say, then you click obtain PIN, now you have two different codes. You can put your PIN in and you can put the CVS code all at the same time to when you unlock it.
Oh.
Wow.
So if the next house does not require a CVS code, it will just, all you have to do is hit unlock and it will, you don't have to enter your PIN. It'll just unlock it.
See, that's why we have a sales meeting.
How did you
Yeah.
learn that?
Uh-huh.
Huh?
Yeah,
How'd you
how did
learn
you
that?
learn that?
I actually, probably somewhere on probably Rob Aubrey, because I love him so much.
Yeah, he's weird.
Just kidding.
He's kind of smart though. He's
But it
very
is
smart.
probably on that page or somewhere. So it makes it a lot easier and it saves you a lot of hassle and time if you do that.
Speaking of which, did you find somebody to stage for you?
I did, yes. Yeah.
Did you ask Wendy?
Did I ask who?
Do you remember Wendy? Wendy Mortensen?
Did she stage? Did you
No,
comment
but
on there? and
you're in
say-
charge.
I wrote on there later.
Oh, I
She's at a
didn't see it.
brokerage with some super high-end ladies. Susie Martin Dale,
Oh,
she's at that brokerage.
she's at
and
Real Brokerage, the real, oh, Susie, that's
Hey.
okay.
So she's like connected to people who are staging that.
Yeah,
lot.
no, I
There's
did.
some guy there.
I
that
did
does
find
it.
someone.
She said he's making 6%. And I'm like, how do you do that?
Okay, since we're recording, let's move on. Sorry.
Okay.
Okay.
Good point.
Okay, next app that I like to use a lot is, and I'm hoping this probably is not news, but it's Utah County Maps. And it's basically the parcel maps.
Wonder if I deleted.
It's an app?
Oh, I have.
Yep, just Utah County. It just says Utah Co Maps. This allows you while you're out at showings, you can say, oh, there's a big open piece of land behind this house. You can jump on this and it will tell you who owns it and whether it's city owned or whatever. It's been very helpful for me in those cases. It also is really good if you're out looking at kind of some vacant land and looking at other lot options that aren't necessarily listed on the MLS. You can pull this up and it will give you the lot sizes and things like that.
And tell us again, what's the app name?
Utah County Maps.
Utah
I thought
County.
that it would let me share it, but it's still trying to load.
I don't know where mine is now. So weird. Now when I open apps, they just
So
disappear.
go to type in there.
This is so great.
I opened it up, but I don't know how to now put it where I want it to go.
So-
Oh, like this right there? Is
Yeah.
that how it is?
Yeah.
So you can just, you just scroll in wherever you want it
No,
to.
I mean, the app
To save it
itself,
on our
I
phone.
want to save it. And so if I go out of it, it's like,
It's not on your.
I want to
phone
put it
anymore?
into my little.
Real estate
real
apps.
estate app.
Oh, where did you go? Did you just enter into your search?
Okay,
Oh,
so go
it's
to
an
the app
actual
store.
app.
There's an app.
Store.
I've downloaded it, so I have it
Oh,
on my phone.
Okay,
But
then
you don't
just
know where
swipe
it went.
swipe your phone right to left and it'll have a list of all your apps.
go to the
everything.
very, very end of your swipe, all the way to the end, and it'll tell you the recently one.
It's not there.
Recently added.
Hand me your phone real fast.
This is so fun.
I
Sorry.
also pay for Echo. I'll have to look it up. And I can find cool things too when I'm showing houses. I'll show you that one. It's X. Oh, you're so cute.
This is so
It's
great.
a hunting one.
Oh, the hunting
So it
one?
just shows you the whole map and you just zoom in
I
until you
had a
find your
client
area.
who used that. It was
I
really
love
cool.
this.
What is the app that you're pulling up?
You
What does it
talk-
look like?
It's. I'll have to help you out
But
there,
it's
but weird.
Utah.
Yeah.
Because if I search it on the
Co-
side, it comes up. You have the
Maps.
app on your
But I
phone.
don't know where it is now.
I think on Android, it's Utah County Parcel Map. Might just be a
So,
different name. 'Cause I
Oh.
couldn't find it on
Oh, you
Utah
don't know.
Go.
Okay.
find that one.
So it looks like this.
The one in the middle.
Okay, perfect.
On Android,
Got it.
it's-
Thank you.
On Android, it's Utah County Parcel Map.
On Android, it's Utah County Parcel Map.
Oh, I see what you mean. I can't find, I've just downloaded it, but it's not showing up anywhere yet. So I've put it someplace. I see that.
Yeah, I used to go and just pull up from the website, and I would go to the website anytime I need to look up things. But this app is great.
This is super helpful in Utah County. I wish Salt Lake County
I
had
wish it
something
was too.
similar. Because I've too often found that I need that up there too. The second app or the next app is Loop. If you don't have Loop on your phone, you should. You can pretty much do everything from your phone.
I think Alyssa told me
Yeah,
she
do you have
prefers
that
it on
app?
the phone.
Which one's that?
On X Hunt.
No.
Oh, it's great.
How much is it?
I don't know. $30 a year or something. So it's-
So far, all of my apps are free.
Just the little one
Just
up.
kidding.
Susan just said, what is it called?
It's on X Hunt.
On X Hunt?
And then what do you use?
So
it
if I'm
for?
out in the middle of nowhere and want to know.
Sounds kind of dirty, really, but.
It's
But
kind of awkward.
So what do you
So it
do?
shows me the property around it and who owns it and how much the size lots are around it.
oh, so basically it's the same thing,
It's
but looks a
really
little more
detailed.
user friendly
Yeah.
too and
Can you do
detailed.
it in Salt Lake?
Yeah, anywhere.
And that one
Anywhere.
goes anywhere, so I'll have to look into that one.
It's really
I had
good.
a client
Okay.
use that one time when we were looking for a house.
It's
Um,
awesome. It's really good.
okay, I won't go into the Loop one just because that one's pretty self-explanatory. You can assign signatures, you can download PDFs and send them and things like that. So it's just nice to have when you're out and about and need to do. It's usually good for assigning signatures and like maybe an addendum just real quick, but it's not something I'd want to fill out an entire contract or anything like that.
Yeah, if you're on the go, just pull over and put a couple signatures on, get them to your clients or something really quick. If they
Yeah.
have a deadline to accept a contract, it
You
works
ordered
really well.
Girl Scout cookies from a past client, and you could not remember where they lived, and you had to look up on Dotloop this
Yeah,
morning, like I
exactly.
just did, and had to go pick up Girl Scout cookies, and I had no
That's
idea where they
actually
lived,
what I
and-
use it a lot for is
Yeah.
finding previous
Mhm.
addresses. Yeah. let's see. The next one is because sometimes I don't like people. It's called Slide Dial.
Oh, yeah.
It's where you can basically call someone and it takes you directly to their voicemail and you can leave a voicemail and then you don't have to hear their voice other than on their voicemail.
I hate those though.
I
because
know,
it's
but
like-
there's people it's necessary for.
like,
Yeah.
Can't you just text those people instead of leaving them a voicemail?
Yeah, you can.
So if I ever get a slide dial from you, I'll know. I'm
If
on
you
the
ever get a
list.
voicemail without a missed call, that's
was
me.
Justin. I'll be watching.
Let's see, and then obviously the Utah Real Estate app. And then the one that I use a lot, and it's not always necessarily for real estate, but it kind of is, like I found addresses and stuff, is the Forewarn app. So they gave it to us for free for a year. I highly recommend paying for it. I think if you call and
I
get
think
the
it's what,
discount,
$10 a month or something now,
I think it's $50 a year.
Is
if you
it?
go through the
MLS.
if
I
you
mean,
go through the MLS, and then you just have to call in and they'll give you the discount code or
Oh,
whatever.
okay, that's what it would be.
But all you have to have is a name or a phone number. It's best if you have a phone number. You can pull up their address. And then for those of you that are taking leads, it's super great for doing a little research on your leads that you're getting to make sure that they're not like felons that
We actually had a situation in our office a little while ago with one of our agents. She's no longer with us, who had a piece of property, and a guy reached out to her on something. He made multiple offers with different agents, but he wanted her to show this one. And she did a forewarn on him and found out he had a criminal record for
Violent behavior?
and sexual predator kind of thing. So she had someone else. Was that you that ended up showing that property? Who was that?
I can't remember who that was, but I remember the story.
Yeah, so she actually called someone else to do it, and then he called her back after the showing and wanted to work with her, and it was crazy, but fortunately she had been forewarned literally to not meet this guy, and so it protected her a little bit. Well, I think it was Devin that ended up showing it,
I
maybe.
bet it was.
I think it was.
And
So
did she
it's,
end up working with it?
well, he ended up buying the house. So she helped him with the contract, but everything else, she wanted to assign it to Devin to go ahead because he was team leader at the
See,
time.
and there's the deal though, you don't.
How do you know? But at least she knew not to meet the guy at the house, and she refused to do that.
I mean,
She
I
said,
did
"I'm
2
just not-"
deals, and I found out at the end he was on the sexual predator list,
Really?
but it was after those 2 deals were done. And so if I would have been forewarned, then like, cause there was never, I don't know.
Well, I think if you found out there was an issue there, you could call one of the men in this office, and they would be happy to, as long as he's not a sexual predator for men as well.
I'm just saying, you never know, right? Like, why am I being sexist on it? There was some, anyway, like it, but
Well,
the wife told me after everything was said and done.
well,
And he was a creepy guy. I mean, I already knew he was creepy, and I took precautions because of that. Like,
well,
but
well, things happen. So
My
just
husband
be
sent
careful.
me I sent him a message that said, I'm going to show a house to somebody who's kind of scary. If I don't check back in at 7, you know, this is where I am, this is who I'm showing houses to. And the next day I had a taser on my doorstep from Cheaper Than Dirt.
Yeah.
It was like flashlight, and it was like 1,000,000 volts. Never used it.
That'll make
I
it.
think
Yeah.
if I were to use a taser, they could just grab it out of my hand.
Well, in a lot of, what used to be in a lot of times, you could chat with someone and kind of get a feel for them that they were like, you know, weird. That
Right.
was not just strictly business.
This guy was weird.
Yeah, and so what we did is we would recommend, if you felt like I need to go ahead, like the agent in the office that was female, so I guess you go ahead and show it. Get someone on the phone with you and keep them on the phone when you go to the door,
That's
and
good.
just have your phone with you. At least do that. Or else have someone come with you, just stay in the car, you know, a husband or something like that, or a son, whatever, you know, is available. But just, if you get that inclination, go with it. Just, there's a reason why you're getting a vibe. Trust your vibes. Okay, thank you. Now that we're all kind of like,
No,
ooh,
that's all right. Last one. And this is thanks to Whitney. Artie Academics.
spell it.
ARTI Academics. If you're in need for some CE classes, it's It's really easy. You sign in, it asks for your license number and everything. This is approved through
Division.
the division, and if you are, I want to say that Cheryl Knowlton kind of helped develop this.
Oh,
There, you can even take the real estate class on this for free, I think, but it's all free. So,
Is it this one?
yep, that's it.
How, if it's free, how's it paying for itself? Are they doing ads?
I'm not actually taking a class yet, so I'm not sure, but there are basically, I mean, there's probably 50, 60 courses on here.
what does
Is
Stringham
Cheryl
charge? They're
the-
like $10 per hour. Isn't that what it is?
Ask again.
No,
Isn't Stringham Real Estate School, they're $10 per hour?
I don't know.
I
think
do
it
like
is.
him. I like Stringham.
I do too.
Is
I
Cheryl
tried-
who you took the negotiating class from?
Yeah.
And did you think it was good?
That was my favorite one.
Of hers or just in general?
Just in general. Yeah,
Wow.
the pricing strategy one is also really good too.
Is
It's
that
very,
hers also?
she does teach it, but I took it through a guy out in Eagle Mountain, Brittany set us up with
I
that
didn't hear about those.
once. How do I hear about him?
Yeah.
That's a good question. I got Cheryl's name a long time ago, or maybe I was just looking up designation classes and she's the only one that used to kind of teach them around here. And so, but Brittany is the one that set up the pricing one. And that, or maybe it was over, we went to it over at UCAR.
Oh,
And so that's the other thing is just watch UCAR's calendar. I took my
Yeah.
math class over there. And they have, some CE classes like once or twice a week, but the pricing one was over there and it was really good. And then Brittany ended up connecting with him and having him teach it again, I think. for
we're a big enough
group of
group that if we
people,
had
so-
everybody here for a really good class, we could probably at least have a Zoom to us or else have a live presentation. We used to do that quite a bit. So
Yeah.
now that we're kind of back in face to face, we could maybe do that.
Yeah. And I want to say like most of them are like 70, 80 bucks, maybe 100. The negotiation one though, the 2-day ones,
The
and I
nego-
think
the
they're a lot
designation
longer.
training or have a fee.
yeah, and then that pricing one is it's a certification. It's not a designation. So the nice thing about certifications is that it's a one-time fee. You pay one time and you get certified in that. If it's a designation,
Mm,
then that is a yearly fee to maintain that status. So
Used to be a
I
lot more
believe,
prevalent
like,
than it is now.
the
Seems like
seller representative one
CRS, ABR.
is, yep, ABR, SRS.
Senior citizen.
There's a senior citizen one. There's a technology one. I mean, there's a ton of them.
Military personnel.
And I personally feel like I learn more from the agents that are attending there than I do necessarily from the class itself. But I think that's the whole purpose is they really engage everyone that's there. And so it's kind of fun. And I have received 4 referrals from an agent that I met there
Wow.
that came up from Cedar City.
Hmm.
And so it's really good to like network and connect. And so sometimes it's helpful to even maybe attend a class
oh, I
in
like
another
those.
state or in another
Oh.
city or something like that so that you can kind of network and build your
Yeah.
referral network as well.
Wow, great idea.
And they always give you free lunch.
Bingo.
And
For
that's
nothing.
actually when you learn a lot is when
Yeah.
you're having lunch and just chatting with people.
Just chatting. Yeah.
I took the pricing one
Mhm.
online yesterday and the day before.
Was it good?
Sorry. Like you just get through it.
Online is just like.
Um, But I'm like, I want to do ones that are certifications, so I just pay once and I don't have to repay every year. Like, I'm sort of hesitant, I haven't done the buyers or the sellers one. Because like, oh,
have to
so then there's more fees to be paid. I don't know, I know that that's a thing and I should probably just do it, and it's not a big deal.
Back in the days, it was a lot more of a Remax thing because they had a conduit to those training classes that were so easy to access and everything that no one else did. So that was how they hooked themselves up.
Do you guys have your sellers and the buyer ones?
I think I did it once and I didn't keep it up.
Yeah, I never paid, so I need to figure out how.
That's me
to.
too. I've got it. I've
Ah.
got several of them, but I've quit paying.
I have a seller one, but I think mine just on auto pay. So
Right, so it just
I-
work.
I've tried to
I
let it
hope.
pay many times and I can't figure out how to do it, so. I've given up.
So there's the other reason why I'm like, okay, I'll just get all the ones that are, you're saying
Yeah.
certifications rather than designations.
Yeah, I
Right.
believe that's the difference.
The designation gives you little initials behind your name, which no one understands what it is
Oh,
anyway.
but certifications don't?
No, they both do, I think.
I don't think
you do.
certification does.
I'm an SFR or whatever.
'cause
and that's-
PSA
I can put
Oh,
that behind
Is
me.
that
Wow.
pricing
That's different.
strategic analysis or something
Yeah.
like that?
Yeah, so, I mean, that's the only reason.
Maybe.
So since you're a little more up on this, in the messenger site, would you maybe list your favorite certifications so the
Yeah.
agents can kind of, when we do that?
Good couple.
Yeah,
of
I'll actually
years.
post a link too, just to where you can take the courses through
Okay,
Cheryl. too.
perfect, great. All right, so we'll have that on Messenger for you when the time comes you want to look for it. Just
Okay.
copy it. Okay,
Okay, that's all
awesome.
I got.
Wow,
Thank you.
that was worth just coming for that.
Nice to get out of the house.
Yeah. So how is everybody doing? Don't all jump up.
Good.
And
I'm not doing much real estate.
anyone on suicide watch from working with buyers that have had a situation?
Whitney, because I just keep sending all my buyers to her because I'm staying okay busy with sellers.
Wow, how would that be?
Really good.
Poor Whitney has really went through the ringer with one of our buyers, but
You want to hear a sad story? Can I vent?
Yeah.
So I've got a client that it's like the brother of the brother I sold his house and the parents I sold 2 homes to. So it's a family thing. He's not married, but he and his significant other decided to look for homes. So I started helping him, obviously, because I represent the family on everything they do. He had really good credit. She didn't have any credit. She didn't actually have a report on it because she had never done that kind of thing before. So we've been working showing properties. I actually finally got to the point where I offered to buy the house for them and then resell it to them
Wow.
because we were competing against cash offer every single time
Yeah.
and they could never get a deal in. And I said, well, I'll pay cash for it. Just use my HELOC loan and then you can pay me back. And I said, would you do that? And I said, yes, for family. And these guys are like family. So we get all to the point ready to make an offer on one. That's all set. We got it all worked out. The HELOC loan's all set up and everything. And then all of a sudden she shows up with a credit report and it's not very good.
Oh, no.
So it dropped him down about 50,000 from what they could get, or not, maybe not that much, but enough that killed the deal. So that's from November. I've been working with them and now we're
Oh,
6 months to get our credit fixed.
ouch.
So
I
did
know.
you already pay cash for the house?
Oh, no. However, now plan B is to buy a house anyway. We lost that deal because we stopped, but play cash anyway and then rent it to them for 6 months because they're living with mom and dad right now.
How did she not have a credit report?
I know, isn't it funny?
I think that's weird. And then was she not going to be on the first loan? And now
Yeah, she
she's-
was, but they
she's
didn't
gonna-
require her to be on it. She didn't have a credit report, as long as his credit was good enough to sustain. And it was almost
So
an
then
800
why don't
score.
they just still go with his credit report?
Right.
Well, because he can't qualify for as much without her income.
They
No.
were going to use her income
Oh,
and then
yeah.
waive the idea that she had no credit at all.
Bingo. Yeah.
That's a thing.
And they
You
can do that. Yeah.
I've never heard of that before. Wow.
Well, and probably for good reason, because it's somewhere along the line, someone goes, oh, we should do a credit report because she's getting a loan. And then, anyway, okay. Anything else? Anyone from the out there have anything you want to say or comment before we quit? So
I
next-
have a list, I have a
Go ahead.
listing coming up in Riverton around 850, 860. If anyone has any clients in there, really nice house, good views, private backyard.
Is it a Rambler?
Yes,
Okay. 3-car?
yes.
Okay. Put it in the chat when
Checking boxes.
Okay, we're taking pictures today, so I'll put them in.
Hey, awesome.
Oops, I just canceled everybody out. Y'all still there?
Yeah.
Okay,
Loaded
sorry.
that hunting app and it just says in-app purchases. It doesn't